I use the pulse, and that's to remove the air. Every 5 records or so, I want to remove the air. So here the record is virtually dry. So now what we do is we remove the excess water with just the optician's cloth.
¿Qué tal, amigos del canal de Hi-Fi? Bienvenidos, soy Alejandro Méndez y me encuentro en estos momentos en las oficinas de Margules porque tenemos una exhibición sobre el sistema de restauración de Charles Kirmuss y ahora lo vamos a tener aquí para nosotros. Ahí está la lavadora, tenemos aquí muchas personas y tenemos bastantes personas aquí en esta exhibición. Y bueno, pues vamos a grabar la presentación.
Let's see, where's not for me, I have to work. Very good. Who would like to be where's my translator? Oh, you can help in the meantime. Good. There's someone that doesn't know my script. Very good. I don't know it. Okay, very good. First of all, do some people understand English or not?
Yes.
So, okay. You, no, he knows English very good. Okay, good. So, my name is Charles Kirmuss. I'm very honored to have such a wonderful audience that have come in on this evening.
Me llamo Charles, estoy con mucho honor de estar con ustedes esta noche.
And we have also Anne Bisson, very famous Canadian and international now jazz singer, artist, pianist, very passionate. Come in, Anne, and say hi.
I'm very hungry.
Hoy contamos con la presencia de Anne Bisson,
And
cantante de jazz.
Anne and I are kind of, and with Margules, we're kind of all together in lovers of music. Okay, it's all about the music and la emoción. Okay.
Okay. Está con nosotros Anne, que es una muy famosa estrella canadiense de jazz, cantante, y junto con la familia Margules todos somos como muy unidos en el amor por la música.
Mr. Margules, also please come and just say hello. He's very shy. Yes.
Bienvenidos todos.
So what we're going to try to accomplish tonight are a couple of things. First of all, by the way, Anne has really grown her career by working with high resolution, both digital medias and records.
Lo que vamos a hacer hoy es algo muy especial, sobre todo tratándose porque Anne trabaja mucho con medios digitales y análogos. I think if you could keep it shorter,
okay,
I don't remember everything.
Okay, very good.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I'm a good translator. First time, yeah. Thanks.
To the point where one of our records, The Blue Mind, has been recognized by the audiophile community as the best audiophile recording ever made, or recently made.
Sí, al punto en donde el Blue Mind, el record, ha sido reconocido por la audiencia audiófila como el mejor disco nunca antes hecho.
She uses a wonderful pressing company called RTI.
Puso una gran compañía maravillosa que hace discos que se llama RTI.
And because I'm in the record restoration business,
Como está en el negocio de la restauración de los discos,
and not the cleaning business,
la limpieza,
I touch records from many manufacturers.
toca muchos discos de muchos fabricantes.
You will learn tonight
Aprenderán hoy
what we all want to do
lo que queremos hacer
when we play records,
cuando ponemos discos.
and it's to play the original, the stamper. That's what we're trying to do.
Y es lo más es poner, suene lo más parecido al original, al stamper,
Stamper?
estampador.
Estampador, very good. And I say that because, as you'll see tonight and here,
Digo esto porque como verán esta noche y lo escucharán,
while the method of making records
mientras que el método de hacer discos
is problematic, is a problem for any pressing company.
es muy problemático, es muy complicado para cualquier empresa que hace discos.
We have a
The-
vinyl manufacturer over here, I'm sorry.
Very good. Where? Very good.
Marco?
Yeah.
Marco here makes
Very good,
vinyl.
Marco. And he can correct it, and tell him he can correct me if I'm wrong, okay?
Es fine, yeah.
Yeah. Where we, in a restoration,
Mientras que nosotros en restauración
like to give you higher signal out of your cartridge,
queremos darte una mayor señal de cartucho, perdón.
and we
de la
want
pastilla.
to have the largest possible frequency response.
Y queremos tener la mayor respuesta a la frecuencia.
And more important is to have the resonances and the harmonics picked up,
Y lo más importante es tener las resonancias y las armónicas que suenen,
which, depending on the pressing company,
que dependiendo de la empresa que hace los discos,
they all have an oil.
todos tienen aceite.
Otherwise, the record cannot pop out.
Si no, el disco no podría salir de las máquinas
And in my measurements,
y en sus medidas.
RTI is the best.
RTI
They use the best plastics, they use the best stampers.
son los mejores plásticos y los mejores estampadores.
And the rest, we can restore.
Y lo demás lo
Okay.
podemos restaurar.
Very good. Question. How do you clean records? And I'm using the word clean. He has restoration, but how do you clean?
¿Cómo limpian sus discos?
La VPI, vacuum. VPI, Nitty Gritty, Okinoki, Nessie. Okay, good.
Water and soap.
Water and salt. Okay. Who else? I know he has an
Hummingbird.
ultrasonic. Okay.
Tiene aceite, tiene un ultrasónico.
Okay.
Filter spinner.
Yes, right. Records. Very good too. Okay, good. Who just uses brush?
¿Quién solamente usa un cepillo?
Winner. Okay, he's a winner there.
Moi, j'ai juste ça la brosse.
Okay, so he's a winner, and because you answered the right question, you're getting a CD from me. Actually, an ANS CD, but I'm giving you a CD.
Perfect.
Okay, you answered it right on. Okay. Yes. So yeah. So now I owe her. Yes, she's also gets one. A little humor because she also uses brush.
Yeah, I
Okay.
use the brush.
So let's take a look at records and understand music.
Veamos los discos y entender la música.
So here is a typical, let's see if I, there we go, here. So this is a record pressing plant, okay? This is at Cascade Records in Portland, Oregon.
Es una empresa que hace manufactura de discos en Cascade Records en Portland, Oregon.
And if you take a look at it, it's pretty dirty. You know, you'll see some other pictures. And the fundamental problem of records, whether they were pressed yesterday or pressed 100 years ago,
El problema fundamental con los discos es ya sea que los imprimieron, los estamparon ayer o hace 100 años. Bueno, podrán ver que la planta es muy sucia.
the problem is basically the plastic itself.
El problema es el plástico en sí mismo.
Records from Anne. She's in the studio.
Los discos de Anne, cuando están en el estudio,
They're recorded on tape.
están grabados en una cinta.
Okay. From the tape, then the tape will go into basically, you have engineer, sound engineer, production engineer. The long story short is to make a stamper, you use a lathe to cut a lacquer to make this, okay?
Después de la grabación pasa por todos los diferentes ingenieros que producen audio y de ahí se va a ir a
A lathe, yeah.
lathe.
Lacquer.
We call it a lathe.
Lacquer,
Yeah, to cut the
Wait,
lacquer.
to cut the lacquer.
It's a lathe.
Yeah.
Algo para cortar la laca.
Yeah, it's a machine that cuts a piece of plastic, and the plastic then gets coated.
Es una máquina que corta el plástico y luego el plástico se codifica.
So it's made with, they spray the plastic with nickel and silver.
Le echan al plástico níquel y plata.
And then eventually from that they make mothers, sons, and so on. So they make the stamper.
Usually 3 steps, but
Yes.
we will talk about it later.
Right, correct.
De ahí hacen las primeras, se llaman madres, hijos y demás. Y de ahí hacen todo el volumen de discos.
Yeah. Now the reason why I kind of am focusing on this has not changed in 100 years.
La razón por la que me estoy enfocando en esto es porque esto no ha cambiado en 100 años.
The lathe of 50 years ago to the lathe today, we still are using the same technology because it's a RIA standard, the way the size of the grooves are made.
La manera en la que se hacía antes y se hace hoy realmente no ha cambiado por el estándar RAI que es el que se usa hasta el día de hoy.
So what we're going to do is we're going to learn about records and why they're problematic.
Vamos a aprender hoy sobre los discos y por qué son problemáticos.
Okay. Records first start with PVC pellets.
Los discos empiezan con pastillas, pallets de PVC.
Okay. Inside the pellet, you have PVC, which is clear, no color.
Tenemos dentro de este mix, tenemos PVC transparente, sin color.
They add carbon.
Le agregan carbón.
The carbon is made, which is black, it's made so the needle temperature, when you play the record, is 1,200 degrees, approximately.
El carbón se lo ponen para que cuando la aguja toque el disco esté más o menos a 1200 grados.
Okay.
Degrees?
Yes, degrees.
1000
Temperature, sí. Fahrenheit.
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 Bueno.
Very caliente.
Muy caliente.
And we'll talk about what that means later.
Vamos a hablar de lo que significa esto.
They add also stabilizer, plasticizer, liquefier.
Le agregan estabilizadores, plastificadores y liquidificadores.
Okay, so we first need to make a biscuit. Okay, Canadians like me, and then we call it a hockey puck, but it's a big one.
Necesitamos
Okay.
hacer primero un biscuit. Los canadienses le decimos un puck de hockey.
That's right. This is made avec injection,
Esto se hace con
injection machine. You can see there's a little hole. That's where the plastic comes in.
Hay un pequeño agujero y ahí podemos ver dónde entra el plástico.
Okay.
El molde.
So we take a stamper, put it in the machine.
Tomamos el stamper, lo ponemos en la máquina,
We take l'étiquette,
ponemos la
The
etiqueta,
sticker.
Label.
slide B.
lado A, lado B.
In this factory, we have a biscuit,
En la fábrica tenemos el biscuit,
very caliente, 185 degree at this factory.
muy caliente, 180 degrees Fahrenheit, right?
Yep. It falls onto the label.
Cae en la etiqueta,
We then put the other label on.
ponen la otra etiqueta,
Then we put side A, stamper.
luego ponen el stamper lado A.
And then what happens is the stamper comes down,
Lo que pasa es que el stamper baja,
side B,
lado B,
etiquette B,
etiqueta B,
biscuit,
biscuit,
etiquette A, and now la presión
etiqueta
and la temperature. Shoo. It starts now to squeeze.
junto con la temperatura y la presión se empieza a apretar.
In this factory,
En esta fábrica
we have the stamper,
tenemos el stamper
and it stays closed for 3 minutes.
y se queda cerrado por 3 minutos.
3 minutes, 3 minutes, tres, sí.
3 minutos.
Okay. You see excess plastic coming out.
Ven el plástico excesivo que sale de ahí.
Minutes, and also there's a cutter. It goes and cuts the record.
En esta planta se tarda 3 minutos y también tiene una navaja que corta
Okay.
el contorno.
So, one of the problems, how many of you have bought new record and it's warped?
¿Cuántos de ustedes, uno de los problemas es cuántos de ustedes han comprado un disco nuevo y está doblado o pandeado?
Brand new.
Nuevo.
Okay.
Ok,
Can anyone think why we have a brand new record that's warped?
¿por qué puede haber un disco nuevo que está doblado?
More time that it needs.
Ah, I like the word time. Very okay.
Ah, me gusta la
So,
palabra tiempo, muy bien.
in this factory, it stays for 3 minutes.
En esta fábrica se queda por 3 minutos.
This is metal,
Esto es metal
and the stampers are metal.
y los stampers son metal.
This is a heat sink.
Esto es heatsink.
Heat sink,
Es una
Máquina de
sección, no, para el calor, disipador de calor.
Un disipador de calor.
so we need the heat,
Necesitamos el calor.
maybe now 400 degree Fahrenheit,
Ahora 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
to come down
Que baje,
in temperature.
que baje la temperatura.
And in this case, this factory,
En este caso, en esta fábrica,
the record comes out at 130 degrees.
el disco sale a 130 grados.
It was cooling
Se
in
está
the stamper.
en el stamper.
Okay.
Ok.
We have record aficionados here.
Tenemos aficionados de discos.
Everyone wants records now.
Todos quieren discos, ¿no?
More orders for records
Más órdenes de discos
than the number of companies that press.
que la cantidad de empresas que los hacen.
So, if this company does one record
Si esta empresa hace un disco
every 3 minutes,
cada 3 minutos,
oh, we have lots of orders for Ann's records.
tenemos muchas órdenes para el disco de Anne.
Let's now cut down the time.
Vamos a reducir el tiempo ahora.
2 minutes.
2 minutos.
So,
Ahora,
remember, this here 3 minutes, flat,
recuerden, 3 minutos horizontal,
lands on paper,
cae en papel,
is cooling.
se está enfriando.
Okay.
Okay.
If it was 2 minutes,
Si fueran 2 minutos,
the record is warped.
el disco se dobla.
Okay? The record is warped.
Se dobla.
Yes, I'm making an extra record, you know, every whatever. Okay?
Estoy haciendo un disco cada menos tiempo.
So those companies put a weight on the record.
Estas empresas le ponen peso al disco.
Now the records are cooling by themselves.
Ahora los discos se están enfriando por sí mismos.
You know, the temperature maybe is 150. You know, it's immaterial. It's higher than the norm.
Probablemente la temperatura es mayor 150 que la norma.
So now the record is flat at the factory.
Ahora el disco está plano en la fábrica,
They put it in the sleeve.
lo ponen en el sobre,
It goes to the distributor.
va al distribuidor,
It goes from the distributor to the détaillant, the reseller,
va del distribuidor al revendedor
and then it comes to your house.
y llega a tu casa.
And you open it up, and it's curved.
Lo abres y está pandeado.
Plastic has memory.
El plástico tiene memoria.
We talked about the word plasticizer.
Platicamos de la palabra plastificador.
Plasticizer is used for many things.
El plastificador es usado para muchas cosas.
This is plastic.
Esto es plástico,
I'm twisting it.
lo estoy doblando
It comes back to the memory
y
position.
regresa a la posición memorizada.
So what happened at the factory?
¿Qué pasó en la fábrica?
Didn't cool.
No se enfrió,
It went back to cuckoo. It went back to a warp.
regresó a su estado original.
So, how many of you bought new records and you hear pops?
¿Cuántos de ustedes han comprado discos nuevos y han escuchado pops?
Okay. Okay, well, very good. Remember, these are very good. These are very good. They have to be, they wear out. Okay.
Estos se desgastan, pero son muy buenos.
But I'm going to focus on this.
Me voy a concentrar
The
en
record is hot, 130 degrees, 54 degrees Celsius.
el disco está muy caliente, 54 grados Celsius.
The factory is dirty.
La fábrica está sucia.
Dandruff from the operator.
Caspa del operador.
I'm with you.
There we go. Dust everywhere in the factory.
Polvo por todos lados en la fábrica.
That lands onto the record.
Eso cae en el disco.
The record has hot oil,
El disco tiene aceite caliente,
because if we did not have oil, the record could not come out.
porque si no tuviera aceite no podría salir de la prensa.
So correct English word is fuse. In Spanish we can use cement. We cement the dust in the oil.
La palabra correcta en inglés es fusionar. La palabra en español sería cementación en el disco.
Okay, so Every time you play the record,
Cada vez que pones un disco,
you hear a pop
pones un pop
in the same spot.
en el mismo lugar.
Okay, why?
¿Por qué?
Because here's a picture
Aquí hay una foto
of a piece of dust
de una pieza de polvo
that is stuck in the pressing oil, in the release agent.
que está atorada o pegada en el aceite que se usa para que salga el disco de la prensa.
Every time I play the record, that area here, I hear a pop.
Cada vez que pasa la aguja, por ahí oigo un pop.
Okay. I had to buy
Tuve que comprar,
a $178,000 US microscope
tuvo que comprar un telescopio de $178,000
to prove
para probar
this principle
este principio
to an analog expert,
para un experto
analogy,
análogo,
a journalist in the United States,
un periodista en Estados Unidos,
Senior Michael Fremer.
señor Michael Freeman.
Okay. I had to show this to the US Patent Office
Tuvo que enseñarle esto a la Oficina de Patentes de Estados Unidos
and to the Recording Academy in Los Angeles
y la Academia de Grabaciones en Los Ángeles
and to the Academy Awards Committee for the Oscars
y a la Academia de los Premios Óscares
of my discovery.
de su descubrimiento.
Okay. So, here is a document coming up. There we go.
Aquí hay un documento que va a aparecer.
I found this document only 4 years ago.
Encontró este documento solamente hace 4 años.
I've been doing this since when we met in Munich.
Munich.
What year? 2017? No, 29.
2014, 2012?
Yeah, 2012.
2012.
Since 2012,
Llevo haciendo esto desde el 2012.
no one has seen this document
Nadie había visto este documento
until 4 years ago.
hasta hace 4 años.
I found this document in the Library of Congress in the US.
Me encontré este documento en la biblioteca del Congreso en Estados Unidos.
This is a document from the Shure Company.
Este es un documento de la compañía Shure,
When I was in Montreal,
Costa de Montreal,
selling audio equipment when I was a young boy
vendiendo equipo de audio cuando era chiquito,
in 1971 to 1974,
entre el 71 y el 74,
buying a Shure cartridge from my friend Daniel Jacques' friends in Montreal, Ultrasonic.
le compré una pastilla a mi amigo Daniel,
Daniel, yeah, he's with Anne.
que está con Ann.
Yeah, very good. Applause for Danielle.
Aplauso
There
para
we go.
Daniel, lo hizo muy bien.
I brought this back to the store
Le llevó eso a la tienda,
because the needle was picking something up out of my records.
porque la aguja estaba reproduciendo algo raro de sus discos, en sus discos.
Yeah, so there was a big study made by Shure
Entonces, hubo un estudio muy importante hecho por Shure
to understand what is happening to their needle.
para entender qué estaba pasando con esa aguja.
Yeah, in Montreal, Filtronic, Bill Layton Audio Shop, they're all shops I knew. They all had the same problem with this cartridge.
En Montreal, todas muchas empresas, muchas tiendas de discos tenían el mismo problema con esta pastilla.
So here they prove that there's an oil. They call it a pressing oil.
Aquí comprobaron que había un aceite llamado aceite de prensa.
Yeah, I called it release agent because I did not know of this,
Yo,
yo 15 years ago.
Yo le llamo un agente para soltar los discos.
En México sería un separador.
Separador. En México, en Spanish it's called separador.
So who what?
In Spanish it's called separador.
Separador? Ah, separador. Yeah, separador in the mold. Yeah, see, same thing.
Separador.
So this diagram shows that they tried to clean
Este diagrama muestra que trataron de limpiar,
clean the record and get rid of the oil.
limpiar los discos y desechar el aceite.
They used the spin clean
Usaron el
with
spin
a chemical and just moving it around.
con un químico, solamente lo movieron.
They used the vacuum system.
Usaron la aspiradora,
They used different kind of cleaning agents.
diferentes tipos de agentes químicos para limpiar.
They could never remove the oil.
pero nunca pudieron quitar el aceite.
So if you go to the Shure historical site,
Si vas al website de Shure, en la
Sí.
parte histórica,
see, in 1978,
en el 78,
they gave you a brush.
daban una
Brush.
brocha
Yeah, to put on your needle to keep it clean.
para que pusieras en la aguja y se quedara limpia.
In 1978,
En el 78
they then came out with the Mark V, not 4,
sacaron el Mark IV,
different stylus footprints.
diferente,
Yeah, the different shape.
diferente forma,
No longer eating the oil.
que no se estaba comiendo el aceite.
So the Mark V was the standard,
Entonces el Mark V, la versión 5, fue el estándar,
and back in 2019,
y en 2019,
when Shure closed the factory,
cuando Shure cerró la fábrica,
they closed the factory because the last person on the assembly line retired.
cerraron la fábrica porque la última persona en la línea de producción se retiró.
No one wants to do this all day.
Nadie quiere estar haciendo todo el día.
Okay. So the Library of Congress bought the last 10,000 of the Mark V.
Entonces la biblioteca del Congreso compró los últimos 10,000 del Mark V.
So, getting back to my microscope,
Regresando al microscopio,
not knowing about Shure,
sin saber nada de Shure,
this is a measurement, 31.84 microns measured by this
esto
microscope.
es una medida de 31.84 micrones, medido con
The height of the record.
que es la altura del disco,
Yeah, so it goes from the bottom of the record to the top.
que va desde la parte inferior hasta la parte superior.
El surco.
Del surco.
So here's the poussière, the dust.
Ahí está el polvo.
My process is the only process to remove the oil.
Su proceso es el único proceso para quitar ese aceite.
The proof,
La prueba
now it's 30.94 microns.
ahora es 30.94 micrones.
No more dust.
No hay más polvo.
And now the stamper, the detail of the stamper, submicron.
Ahora,
Submicron is visible, the resonances, the harmonics, the tone
ahora tenemos
of the emotion of her microphones in the studio with her pianist, with her background, with her vocals. Yes.
Ahora tenemos la emoción, los instrumentos, todo puesto con el micrófono, toda la emoción que le puso al disco.
And it was always there.
Siempre estuvo ahí.
It's in all of these records.
Siempre estuvo en estos discos.
These records, it's been there
Todo el
for
tiempo ha
20,
estado ahí.
30, 50, 100 years. This has not changed.
Desde hace 100 años realmente no ha cambiado esto.
Okay? So, that's why
Por eso,
this is la restauración de vinil and not surface cleaning.
por esto es la restauración de un vinil y no solamente una limpieza superficial.
Okay, so the basis of the patent
Las bases de la patente,
is opposites attract.
los opuestos se atraen.
Maybe not in San Francisco.
Tal vez
You know, it's changing. I'm an old man, 68 years old. So here, my discovery is if you take a magnet,
Mi descubrimiento es si tú tomas un
North Pole and North Pole,
polo norte y polo norte,
the children play with it.
los
it
niños juegan
repels.
con eso y se repele.
South Pole,
Polo sur,
they repel,
se repele.
right? North and South, we're connected.
Norte y sur
Okay.
se conectan.
There is a document called Triboelectric Table of Charges.
Hay un documento que se llama
Triboelectric Table of Charges.
Eso.
I did not invent it.
Yo no lo inventé.
It says that plastic is negative,
Dice que el plástico es negativo.
minus 0.098764 kilovolts. Don't have to.
No, aguas.
Water, minus 0.87698 kilovolts. They repel.
Se repelen.
Okay, so Why, if you just use a cleaning solution,
Entonces,
Mr. Spin Clean,
si solo haces...
por favor, Mr. Spin Clean,
René, te habla.
this is why the Spin Clean does not work.
Por eso la solución de Spin Clean no funciona.
It's good for the
Es
surface,
solamente bueno para la superficie.
fingerprints,
Huellas.
but
Pero
the size of the groove,
el tamaño del canal
it's 6 microns on the bottom.
de 6 micrones en la parte de abajo.
On the top, 30, 38, 40, 45, 50. Different size on the top based on the music.
En la parte de arriba es diferente,
Okay.
dependiendo de la música, 30, 38.
Boom, boom, boom. It's different. The size of the liquid that you're using,
Tamaño
the
del líquido
droplet, 100 to 110 microns.
desde 100 a 110 micrones.
Cannot get in the groove.
Nunca va a entrar en el surco.
So all you're doing is, getting rid of fingerprints.
Solo lo único que está haciendo es quitando huellas.
Now I like the Spin Clean. I like it.
Ahora a mí me gusta el Spin Clean, me gusta.
Why?
¿Por qué?
Because I'm using mechanical work.
Porque estoy usando...
Okay, I put it in, it's in the water. Don't use the chemical, no good.
No uses el químico,
No, just aqua distilled,
solo agua destilada.
just to kill. And you're using, a cloth or whatever. Okay,
Usas un trapo o algo, está bien.
Mr. Vacuum.
Señor aspiradora,
Okay. So sorry.
lo siento.
What you do is the record is flat.
Lo que hace es que el disco está plano,
You put the chemical.
pones el químico,
You do the brushing.
pasas la brocha,
The record turns with a brush,
el disco gira con la brocha,
and then
y luego,
vacuum is vacuuming the water.
y luego la aspiradora jala el agua, aspira el agua.
Now, you still have not gone in the groove.
Ahora no has entrado en el surco.
The liquid is still too big.
El líquido sigue siendo muy grande, más grande,
And by using the vacuum,
y
you
al usar
leave
la,
a film,
y al usar la
a
aspiradora
coating.
dejas una película encima.
So your needle is playing and eating and cleaning your record.
Entonces la aguja está comiéndose y limpiando,
It's eating away that film.
está quitando esa película que se quedó.
And then you need to clean your needle often.
Entonces tienes que limpiar la aguja más seguido.
Okay, so what we do is we spray the record with a spray.
Entonces lo que hacemos es que le echamos líquido al disco con
Yeah,
spray.
ionización.
Líquido ionizado.
It's not a cleaning solution.
No es una solución para limpiar.
I use a brush,
Usamos una brocha,
change the charge of the record.
cambiamos la carga del disco,
The record now is positive.
ahora es positivo,
I put it in my ultrasound,
lo pongo en mi ultrasonido,
and now the ultrasonic is taking materials off the record.
ahora el ultrasonido está quitando diferentes materiales del disco.
This, by the way, shows you the difference in the grooves of the music.
Esto te enseña la diferencia de los surcos en la
Classical,
clásico.
this is the Krevorse, this is Dirty Beats, drum and bass, and this is the clutch with rock. So the music, the grooves are dynamic. It's not just one.
Los surcos son dinámicos, no solamente uno.
So all of these systems,
Todos estos sistemas,
the water and the soap is repelled by the record.
el agua y el jabón es repelido
So,
por el disco.
yep. So, how do ultrasonics work?
Entonces, ¿cómo funcionan los sistemas ultrasónicos?
This is an ultrasonic.
Es un ultrasónico.
Ultrasonics have a stainless steel tub.
Los ultrasónicos tienen una tina de acero
A bassin, just a tub. Yeah.
Solo una tina.
You have what we call transducers on the bottom.
Tiene transductores en la parte de abajo.
You could think of them as speakers
Podrías pensar en ellos como si fueran bocinas,
because these
porque estos
are connected
están conectados
to an ultrasonic generator.
a un generador ultrasónico.
You can also consider it an amplifier
Puedes considerarlo un amplificador
with a tone generator.
con un generador de tonos.
You have ultrasonics that are 25 kilohertz.
Tienes ultrasónicos que son 25
Very
kilohertz,
noisy.
muy ruidosos.
They're used to remove oil.
Eso se usa para quitar aceite.
We have 35, 45, 60, 120 million hertz, all audio, okay?
Tenemos 35, 45, 50, 1 millón, todos son audios, todos son sonidos.
The frequency
La frecuencia
decides the size of the bubble,
decide el tamaño de la burbuja.
okay? So here, with ultrasonics, they have high energy,
Aquí con ultrasónicos
very high energy, no energy.
tenemos alta energía, muy alta energía y no ni ninguna energía.
So here we put a record in an ultrasonic,
Aquí ponemos un disco en un ultrasónico,
okay?
ultrasonido.
Can anyone see the problem here?
¿Alguien ve algún problema aquí?
Yes,
What happened with the WhatsApp when
turning?
¿Qué pasa?
Okay, yes, now this is turning, okay, this is turning.
Esto está
frequencies
girando.
are the same, right?
Yes, the charge, negative, negative.
La carga es negativa y negativa.
I can put a record in my machine
Puedo poner un disco en mi máquina
for 20 years.
por 20 años,
I clean the surface,
limpio la superficie,
I can't get in the groove.
no puedo entrar en el surco.
So what I need to do
Lo que necesito hacer
is to change the charge of the record.
es cambiar la carga del disco.
Okay, so here,
Aquí,
if you take a look at this original picture, I said we have difference of energy.
aquí vemos la foto original y tenemos diferencias de energía.
An ultrasonic by itself
Las ondas ultrasónicas por sí mismas
cannot be used on records,
no pueden ser usadas en discos,
irrespective of the frequency,
sin importar la frecuencia,
because we need to be able
porque necesitamos
to
poder
go from
ir de
even energy
energía pareja, similar,
from the edge of the record
de la esquina del disco
to the dead wax area.
hasta la parte donde no hay información.
So what we do
Lo que
is
hacemos
I use a 35 kilohertz ultrasonic.
un ultrasonido de 35 kilohertz.
The 35 kilohertz removes oil,
Los 35 kilohertz quitan el aceite,
which is 25 kilohertz. So 25 kilohertz is good for oil,
que son
35 is good for oil,
también pueden ser 25 kilohertz, que son buenos para el aceite, pero 35 también son buenos para el aceite.
but the 35 kilohertz gives me the size of a bubble
Pero 35 me da un tamaño de una burbuja
to remove dust,
para quitar el
dirt,
polvo,
fungus.
tierra, hongos.
Higher frequency
Mayor frecuencia,
cannot remove efficiently materials off the record.
no puedo quitar de manera eficiente los materiales del disco.
So we add a resonance, I add a resonance inside
Le agregamos una resonancia adentro
of 70
de
kilohertz
70 kilohertz
that gives me even cavitación.
que me da cavitación pareja.
So this is a way to test an ultrasonic.
Es una manera de probar un ultrasonido.
Okay.
Un ultrasonido.
We go from the edge of the record to the dead wax area. It's
Vamos
even.
de la orilla del disco a la parte donde ya no hay información.
Now, so it proves
Eso
we're sucking materials out.
que prueba que está chupando los materiales y la sociedad.
So,
Así,
by using the system,
usando este sistema,
I need to change the charge of the record.
necesitamos cambiar la carga del disco.
I need to do it several times.
Necesito hacerlo varias veces.
Why?
¿Por qué?
First of all,
Primero,
I need to remove the film from the vacuum system.
necesito quitarle la película que se hizo del sistema de aspiración, de aspiradora que no funciona.
The film from other systems that air dry the records.
La película que otros sistemas se usan para secar con aire los discos.
Then I remove the gas from the plasticizer.
Luego le quito el gas que tiene el plastificador.
So if we remember
Si nos
the
acordamos,
smell of the new car with a film on the windshield,
el olor de un coche nuevo con la película en el parabrisas.
we have the same problem with the record,
Tenemos el mismo problema con el disco,
where all the scratches are in majority.
donde están toda la mayoría de los rasguños.
Then the last is removing the release agent, the pressing oil.
Al final, lo último es quitar el separador.
A lot of people make homemade ultrasonics.
O la gente en sus casas hace limpiadores ultrasónicos.
A lot of ultrasonics are not ultrasonics. They're bubblers, they bubble soap.
pero muchos no son ultrasonidos, realmente lo único que hacen es empujar o crear burbujas.
How do I know?
¿Cómo lo sé?
I put in aluminum record in the machine.
Pongo un disco de aluminio en la máquina.
If it doesn't show this, it's not an ultrasonic.
Si no enseña esto, no es un ultrasonido.
Many machines, $15,000.
Muchas máquinas, 50,
$15,000
$15,000,
Not an ultrasonic.
no son ultrasonidos.
They fail this test,
No pasan esta prueba
and they fail a test using a meter, cavitation meter.
y no pasan la prueba usando
Yeah.
un medidor de cavitación.
Okay. So these are just some tests proving.
Estas son algunas pruebas que prueban
And spacing,
la separación.
this is a machine with 7 liters.
Es una máquina con 7 litros.
I can only do 4 records, not 5.
Solo puedo hacer 4 discos, no 5.
Because if you now go to 5 records,
Porque si te vas ahora a 5 discos,
we have a standing wave.
tienes una ola constante.
And if you're an amateur radio operator or CB operator, you know standing waves kills the energy.
Si
Yeah.
eres un operador de radio, sabes que este tipo de olas matan energía.
So our design, even,
Nuestro diseño,
and the cavitation is actually 810 cavins. Measurement is 810 cavins.
la medida son 810 cavits.
From the bottom of the record
De la parte de abajo del disco
to the label,
a la etiqueta,
in between all records.
en medio de todos los discos.
Even.
Parejo.
Some people talk about ultrasonics as watts.
Hay gente que habla del ultrasonido como watts.
Watts is la consumación de la electricidad. Nothing to do with the power of an ultrasonic.
Nada que ver con el poder de ultrasonido.
Now, there is watts per square centimeter.
Ahora hay watts
Por
por
square
centímetro cuadrado.
Yes, that's a measurement.
Es una medida.
So,
Así.
this is what a bubbler. This is Michael Fremer's machine.
Es un espumador. Es la
Audio
máquina
desk.
de Michael Bublé.
Yeah, and he
Michael
says it,
Fremer.
but he names it Audio Desk Germany.
Lo llama Audio Desk Germany.
Does nothing.
No hace nada.
How do you know
¿Cómo
you
lo sabes?
restore the record?
Que restauraste un disco,
The record comes out dry.
el disco sale seco.
No vacuum,
Sin
no air drying.
aspiradora, sin aire.
Very dry.
Muy seco.
Why?
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué?
Negativa, water, and records repel. Okay, good. So we're nearly done.
Porque negativo con negativo repele el agua.
This is why just use distilled water if you cannot buy my machine.
Por eso solo usar agua destilada si no puedes comprar su máquina.
Chemicals are dangerous for records.
Los químicos son peligrosos para los discos.
Most manufacturers do not tell you what's in the chemical.
Los fabricantes, muchos, no te dicen qué hay dentro de esos químicos.
This chemical is recommended by the Library of Congress.
Este químico está recomendado por la Biblioteca del Congreso.
What is it?
¿Qué es?
It's tergitol.
Tergitol.
Tergitol, if you study the web, the chemical is ethylene oxide. That's the chemical. Ethyleno oxidol, whatever. Okay?
Un óxido muy fuerte.
The key is no good with PVC.
Dice,
No good
no
with
es
plastic.
bueno con PVC, no es bueno con el plástico,
Causes cancer.
causa cáncer.
So don't
Así que-
use any of these.
No uses ninguno de estos.
So how about this? WD-40.
WD-40,
Not joking.
no estoy bromeando.
When you go buy records,
Cuando vas y compras discos,
ask the record reseller of the used record,
pregúntale al revendedor de discos usados,
what did they do to the record before they sold it to
qué le
you?
hicieron al disco antes de vendértelo, qué le pusieron.
If they used spin clean with distilled water, yes, buy.
Si usaron Spin Clean con agua destilada, cómpralo.
If they use just spray distilled water with a rag, buy.
Si hicieron limpieza con un spray y agua destilada, cómpralo. Y un trapo.
If they use the machine,
Si usaron la máquina,
ask them what chemical.
pregunta qué químico.
Okay.
¿Ok?
The record resellers of the used record,
Los revendedores de discos usados
el banditos,
son bandidos,
they're bad.
son malos.
at the show, at Consam,
En el show, en la Expo Consam,
yeah, some record resellers
algunos revendedores de discos
were using a magic liquid,
usaban líquido mágico.
okay? Very shiny record,
Discos muy brillantes.
okay? Après la restauration,
Para la restauración,
you see the scratches in the plastic,
ves todos los arañazos en el plástico.
not in the plasticizer gas, in the plastic.
No en el gas plastificador, sino en el plástico.
They get more money if it's shiny.
Le ganan más dinero si brillan.
Now, if you think,
Si piensas,
we all have made with the turntable
no todos hemos
a scratch. The arm goes
hecho un arañazo con la tornamesa.
every time the turntable turns,
Cada vez que la tornamesa gira,
tick, 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 and you see the scratch.
vemos el arañazo.
Most of the time,
La mayoría de las veces,
because now I've reduced the height of the record,
porque ahora ya bajé la altura del disco,
the needle does not hear the tick.
la aguja no escucha el tic.
7 times out of 10.
7 de cada 10 veces.
If I hear it,
Si lo escucho,
it's very low.
está demasiado abajo.
Okay. So to buy records,
Para comprar discos,
buy records that
comprar
are
discos
new,
que son nuevos,
that are made, or the latest song. Okay, new artists, new songs, not remasters.
que compren discos nuevos discos, no remasterizados.
Many remasters are not made with the tape.
Muchos remasterizados no están hechos con la cinta.
I invented digital video audio recording in '89.
Yo inventé la grabación digital de audio y video en el
Yeah,
89.
I don't have digital in the house.
No tengo digital.
Analog tape and record.
Cinta análoga y discos.
So go to the mercado,
Vayas al mercado,
300, 400, 500 pesos, scratched record,
discos rayados,
buy it.
cómpralos.
Original artist,
Artistas originales.
original band, original studio,
Bandas
original
originales.
pressing plant, original artist, the art. That's very good.
Artistas originales, todo es muy bueno.
So
Así
what
que
we're going to do is we're going to restore a record.
vamos a restaurar un disco.
Did you bring a record?
Oh yeah,
Este disco,
I did.
Okay, bring a record.
no vamos a restaurar plástico.
And when you play a record,
Cuando pones un disco,
play a record once a day per side with your turntable.
pon un disco una vez al día por lado por tu tornamesa.
Why?
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué?
Temperature.
Temperature, the 1200 degrees will change the groove.
La temperatura a 1200 grados va a cambiar el surco.
If you use spin clean cleaning,
Si usas,
VPI cleaning,
si usas todos estos formatos de limpieza,
very bad for plastic.
muy malo para el plástico,
So we will hear a crackle,
vamos a ir a un crackle
that we will get a signal coming up.
que vas a venir de la señal que sale.
So, very good. So let's take a look at this.
Vamos a ver este.
See, here there's a nice little scratch here. This is a real big skid mark here.
Vemos arañazos.
We
muy
will
grande.
see whether it's in the plasticizer or in the plastic.
Vamos a ver si está en el plastificador o en el plástico.
So, if you cannot afford my machine,
Si no puedes,
always use a 10 micron brush.
si no puedes pagar mi máquina, usa un
10 micron.
cepillo de 10 micrones
Because it fits in the groove.
porque cabe en el surco.
Now, look, the turntable stop.
La tornamesa se paró.
This means that
Esto
there's a
significa
heavy coating on the record.
que hay una capa muy gruesa
And you see, look what's come off the record.
y vean lo que salió del disco.
This is why I use a felt to remove the dust.
Por eso se usa una felpa para quitar el polvo.
If I did not do this,
Si no hago esto,
I could, with the heat, create perhaps more pops into the record.
si no hago esto, con la temperatura podría crear más.
So now
polvos
I'm gonna-
en el disco.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it by hand.
Ahora lo que voy a hacer es girarlo a mano.
Then you use carbon fiber to reduce static.
Usamos fibra de carbono para reducir estática.
And we're going to listen to the music.
Y ahora lo vamos a escuchar.
Okay. So I have a spectrum analyzer here,
Tengo un analizador de espectro
which allows me to measure,
que me permite
and I have to turn this sideways here, There we go. It allows me to measure the signal out of the cartridge
Me permite analizar la señal de salida de la pastilla
and the frequency.
y la frecuencia.
Okay, so here we go.
Vamos.
Crack. Cracks. Crack, pop.
Crack, pop.
So I'm going to mark the signal with this.
Voy a marcar la señal.
Okay, so
Ahora,
now we have a base point.
ya tenemos un punto de base.
And it sounded horrible. No excitement.
Nada divertido.
Mind you, I'm not expecting audiophile, good quality instruments on this.
No espero ningún tipo de instrumentos de audiófilo en esto.
So now what we're doing
Ahora lo que hacemos,
is the record is just spinning
el disco está girando,
and we're removing some surface material because the water is touching the record.
alguna de los materiales que están en la superficie porque el agua está tocando el disco.
I can't get into the groove
Me puedo meter al surco
because negative and negative,
porque no puedo meterme al surco porque está negativo con negativo.
they repel.
Se repelen.
So I'm gonna, normally a record like this,
Normalmente un disco como este,
we say do a 5 minutes.
hacer los 5 minutos,
I'm gonna do this for 3. I'm cheating.
lo voy a hacer por 3, estoy haciendo trampa.
I know my machine.
Conozco mi máquina
Then you'll get used to it.
y se acostumbrarán.
So I'm going one more cycle, one more turn, and then we're going to change the charge of the record.
Voy a hacer una vuelta más y le voy a cambiar la carga al disco.
So this is a solution of 2%,
Es una solución de 2%,
2% ionizing agent,
agente ionizador,
and 98% distilled water.
98% agua destilada.
If you see, it's gray.
Si ven, es gris.
There's a colorant.
Hay un colorante.
The colorant lets me see
El colorante me permite ver
what the machine is sucking out of the record.
qué le está quitando la máquina al disco.
So I may go in 3 or 4 cycles in and out.
Y entonces veo si hago 3 o 4 ciclos, adentro y fuera, adentro y fuera.
When I see the record dry
Cuando veo que el disco se secó
and I don't see white material,
y no veo ningún material blanco,
restoration is done.
la restauración está completa.
Okay, so take the record out.
Saco el disco,
Okay, put it on.
lo pongo,
Now I said we had a big coating.
tenemos una gran capa,
There's water here.
hay
See
agua
that?
aquí, ¿lo ven?
And it's greasy.
Y es grasosa.
So what you do is you
¿Qué
first
haces?
remove the water,
Primero le quitas el agua
not to dilute the spray,
para no diluir el spray,
and then 2, 8, and 4 o'clock.
y lo pones a las 2, 4 y 8,
I use the brush,
lo usas la brocha
and now this changes the charge of the record
y esto cambia la carga del disco
to accept the cavitation.
para aceptar la cavitación.
Okay, I do both sides.
Hago lo mismo en los dos lados.
Severe coating on here.
Muchísima capa ahí.
Put it in the machine.
Lo pones en la máquina.
Now the bubbles are rising.
Ahora las burbujas están subiendo.
They're being attracted to the record.
Están siendo atraídas al disco
And as they implode,
y conforme explotan,
they are now sucking materials out of the record.
están sacando toda la suciedad del disco.
So I'm going to do this.
Lo voy a hacer.
I'm going to cheat.
Voy a hacer trampa.
I'm going to put it for 4 minutes.
Lo voy a hacer por 4 minutos.
If you have a record that is new,
Si tiene un disco nuevo,
after the first cycle with the spray,
después del primer ciclo con el spray,
if you see lots of water on the record,
si ven mucha agua en el disco,
you end up using only 2 minutes.
solo usen 2 minutos.
Because the plastic,
Porque el
and you
plástico,
can pass this around, the plastic is not the same, it's not pure plastic,
el plástico no es puro,
which you see in many new records.
que ves en discos nuevos.
Now, we already see a change.
Ahora ya estamos viendo un cambio.
The record is getting shiny.
El disco está haciéndose brilloso.
And again,
Y otra vez,
some records that were played over and over and over again,
los discos que fueron reproducidos muchas veces,
that we used an alcohol-based or ethylene-based cleaner,
que usamos una base de alcohol o etanol para limpiarlos,
the needle now
La aguja ahora
will pick up the detail of the stamper,
va a poder recoger en todos los detalles del stamper,
but we'll hear
pero escucharemos
some crackles on the bottom.
crackles en
It's
la
not
punta,
pop, it's crackles.
pequeños crackles.
So this is what we're doing. This is a picture of what we do.
Esta es una foto de lo que estamos haciendo.
Apply the spray,
Aplicamos el
put it in
spray,
the machine.
lo metemos en la máquina,
After X amount of time, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, reapply the spray. If I see cremola, I go back in again.
después de unos minutos volvemos a aplicar el spray, la brocha. Si veo cremola, lo vuelvo a repetir.
And then,
Y ahora,
when I don't see any more cremola, it's finished.
cuando no veo cremola, ya está líquido.
And the records are virtually dry.
Y los discos están virtualmente secos.
Okay, I'm going to cheat.
Voy a hacer trampa,
There. Wobble the record, remove the excess water.
le doy una sacudidita, de
Okay.
un poco de agua.
I now have a change in color of the record
Ahora ya cambió el color del disco
and less water.
y hay menos agua.
12, 8, and 4.
2, 8 y 4,
Apply the spray.
brocha, spray. Y van a ver la crémola.
No cremola yet because it has a high, very, the record has a big coating
No
and it's
ha
fighting
salido-
it.
No ha salido la cremola porque el disco tiene
Now we're
una
seeing a
capa.
grease.
Ahora
See,
estamos
there
viendo
is a
grasa.
grease here.
Aquí hay grasa.
This is the cremola. When there's a big coating, it's not white. It starts to come out like a grease.
Cuando hay mucha cremola, no sale blanca, sale como una especie de grasa.
Put this back in.
Lo vamos a poner otra vez.
Now
Ahora,
we can do 2.
puedo hacer 2.
And then we're going to go and visit Anne, and she's going to talk to you about what she has in her heart when she creates her music,
Y después vas a escuchar a Ann que nos cuente lo que tiene en el corazón.
which is
cuando
side
hace
1.
música. ¿Cuál es el lado A?
Okay, let's call it Apache. So everyone remember it's Apache.
Vamos a llamarle Apache, que todo el mundo se acuerde de Apache.
So I am not going to change the signal
No voy
of
a
this.
cambiar
Oh,
la
look
señal.
here,
Miren,
it stopped.
se paró.
It's being coated.
Está con capa.
There's a coating.
Hay una cubierta.
There we go. And I'm not going to change the volume
Ahí vamos, no voy a cambiar
because
el volumen
I want to have the proper reading with Spider-Man.
porque quiero tener la misma lectura que con Spider-Man.
Crack, crack.
Crack.
Crack, crack.
Crack.
And on the spectrum analyzer, not much signal.
Y en el analizador de espectros no hay mucha señal.
As a matter of fact, it's just about the same signal as him.
Tiene la
So
misma
it's good.
señal que él. Para que es lo mismo.
Good.
Bien.
So what I do,
Lo que hago.
okay, good. Put this in the machine,
Lo pongo en la máquina.
no change,
No cambio.
no charge change, so just
No hay
clean a
cambio de
bit the
carga.
surface.
Solamente limpio la superficie.
Any questions while I'm doing this?
¿Alguna pregunta mientras hago esto? Allá. There.
El agua
The water.
de la
Distilled
máquina,
water.
¿cada cuántos discos se cambian? Porque si limpias
How,
50,
how many discs can you
Oh, how many
clean
discs?
before you have to change the water?
15 to 20 to 25
De
records.
15 a 25.
If the water is cloudy,
Si el agua está nublada,
then change it.
turbia, cámbiala.
If you only do 3 records today,
Si haces solo 3 discos hoy,
empty the water,
tiras el agua
use it tomorrow.
y la usas mañana, la reciclas.
But not longer than that,
Pero no más que eso,
because the fungus comes back.
porque si no regresan los hongos.
Okay, so let's take a look at the record.
There was a question there.
Yes,
On your left.
yes.
Yeah, does it affect that you put a record that is not change the charge with one that has already changed. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you put a positive record with a negative record.
Oh, it does nothing. Because you're not changing the grooves. Nothing to do with it. There we go. We apply the charge. Now we see more grease. There's more grease coming out.
Hay
See?
más grasa saliendo, ¿ves?
There's grease coming out now.
Hay grasa saliendo.
It hasn't changed yet to white,
No ha cambiado
nearly
blanco,
white, but now we still have a grease coming out.
pero vean cómo sigue saliendo grasa.
Put her in.
Vamos a ponerlo.
I'm going to take yours out.
Voy a sacar el tuyo.
I can cheat.
Voy a hacer trampa.
Okay, here
Ahora
we have water,
tenemos agua,
but we don't have a lot.
pero no tenemos mucha.
So we're going to do the 5-minute cycles, 12, 8, and 4.
Los ciclos de 5 minutos.
I pad this so I can see what's happening.
Paso la brocha para ver qué está pasando.
Apply the charge. Look, there's already material here.
Aplico la
See?
carga y hay material.
Remember, the turntable stopped. That means that there's a coating on the record.
Recuerden que si la torna se paró significa que había una capa en el disco.
So there's a lot of validation of all the property that I have. There, 12, 8,
Hay
4.
muchas validaciones de todo lo que hemos estado platicando.
More crema.
Más crema,
A lot more on this side.
mucho más en este lado.
So this was maybe cleaned manual, one side, or in a vacuum system.
Este fue limpiado tal vez manualmente o en un sistema de aspiradora.
Put this in.
40 años o más.
Dice que he has been, he has it since 40 years ago. It's been,
Yep.
it's been
You have one of your machines, by the way.
I know. You like my machine? He has one of my machines.
He doesn't know how to use it, that's why he came.
Now he's learning how to use it. Very good. Yeah. Yeah, I know. So, while I'm doing this, what I want is Anne first to talk about, before listening to music, talk about how she creates her magic. 2 years later, he brought a record too. He brought a record too. So I'm going to be here, and you saw the process, so please go with Anne, and I'll do the restoration. You can stay just for the
It's a
the
small
mission.
room, so
Yeah.
Julian suggested that's gonna be half of the people to come inside because it's very small.
Very good.
Uh,
Perfect. Yeah.
And then you can do that with them and then they'll switch.
No worries.
Is that okay? Okay, so half of you follow
Yeah.
me.
So before you leave, his record, remember,
Yes.
we shut down the turntable.
El disco, recuerden, se atoraba la tornamesa.
There was a coating.
Había una capa.
Your needle was riding on it.
La aguja estaba escribiendo sobre la
And
capa.
here's the proof
Aquí está la prueba
of la restauración.
de la restauración.
We didn't change the volume and it's quiet now.
No cambiamos el volumen y está callado ahora.
If you're looking here, we now see the instruments.
Si vemos aquí ahora todos los instrumentos.
And now we
Ahora
have,
tenemos,
the volume is now higher,
el volumen está más alto
and we have an increase in 4 dB gain.
y ganamos 4 dBs.
And it's quiet.
Está callado.
And we now have the harmonics, first, second harmonics, and the resonances where the tone is.
Tenemos los
Up here.
armónicos y el tono, todo aquí.
Half over there. We're the only people to guarantee the restoration and the result. You can't afford the system, it's $1,000 for Consam. The brush is the key. Okay, good. Oops. So this is what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I use a clean brush and then I apply the spray. It dries and it now changes the charge to repel dust, to throw dust away. And then always the brush. Again, doesn't stop. Nice and smooth. Quiet. Well, mucho gusto. There we go. Your envelope is. There we go. Now we're going to do one more of these. Okay, cheers.
Have a great one.
Very good. I have a brochure here. There we go.
Yep, thanks.
The propaganda.
La propaganda.
Can I get
Sure, cheers.
Okay.
Now we're going to do one out.
I need to listen
Yep.
to this for the purpose of the video.
Yep. Okay, here, I'm doing one more cycle with him.
Okay.
Hold this, and then we're going to listen to this. There we go. There's no more material coming out. And again, this is a horrible record. But the scratches now isn't as pronounced.
That survived my childhood, man.
So finally, it's just like life, right?
Yes.
The scratches
Ya
of life.
llevo más de 200 discos lavados. Lo que necesito es ya más sustancia. Ya se me acabó.
And it's a shiny color.
Regálame uno para mis fotos.
Last cycle, and then we play.
Es un regalo de Kirmuss, dale la primera.
And then we do yours.
Thank you.
Ah, okay, sí.
Thank you.
Perfecto. There we go.
Que valga la pena.
Thank you.
You have any questions, just ask as well.
Ayer me compraron.
Very good.
Yo estaba en Mérida, no puedo estar. Quiero saber. Sí, quiero que conozcas a Pero ¿dónde puedo encontrar?
Están oyéndola a ella, pero son 2 sesiones.
Ah, ok. Mientras voy a ver si hay más solvente para separar. Lo voy a dejar aquí.
What is the price of the machine, sir?
It's for the Consam special, it's $1,000.
Okay.
No tax, no shipping.
Okay.
The ship from Denver here. We give you $128 of extra materials.
Okay.
And normally it's $1,600, $1,600. So you're getting $600 off plus added the $120, $130 of accessories. Okay, yep. And we guarantee you the results. Instead of buying a cartridge for $20,000, you pick it. This will be very interesting with this record and also this other gentleman's record.
Yeah.
And once it's done, you don't have to do this again because it's restored.
Okay. So cool.
Okay, good. Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to listen to all of them and then process. And we'll remember the numbers instead of the bar. Okay, I'm going to take this out. Now, since we've been doing some records, I use the pulse, and that's to remove the air. Every 5 records or so, I want to remove the air. So here, the record is virtually dry. So now what we do is we remove the excess water with just the optician's cloth. I polish the record. Okay. Don't change the controls. Did you change this? No, then I can't read the measurement.
The same level.
Oh, same level? Okay, good. Good. So, difference in color, less scratches, and now this is gliding. See, it's smooth. So I just polish the groove, same size here, and this shows you why cleaning solutions cannot get into the groove. They're bigger than the groove. Removed a few droplets of water. This is you with the crayon when you were a little kid?
Probably.
Yeah. Your first experience with turntables, right?
Right. So trust me, this has never been cleaned.
Okay, and then polish. Again, smooth. Difference in color. And we did side one. Put it on the turntable. Always remove dust. Not stopping the turntable. Reduce static. Ionize the record to repel dust. So this dries right away. It dries. Induces a charge. You do both sides and you put the record away, or do one side, play, and then the other, and then put it away. Always dust everywhere. There we go. And there we go. Quiet. There we go. We're going to let it go in a couple. Here we now see the first harmonic. First harmonic was missing and the bass was not there. They're not separated. And here we have minus 21 to minus 30. 9 dB gain. And here you can look at it here. There's the full spectrum. And let's listen. Isn't that great? From a scratchy, noisy record. And we still have the scratches on the surface. The needle is lower.
Y bueno, pues este es el proceso de restauración del proceso de Kirmuss con un disco de mi infancia que pues nunca lo había lavado, que sobrevivió a mis años mozos y que pues ahí está la prueba de que sí se pueden restaurar discos bastante golpeados, ¿no? Entonces pues aquí está y esperamos muy pronto ofrecerles este servicio de restauración en Shop Emily Hi-Fi.
Gracias. Mucho gusto. Thank you for bringing a very hard record. And you're a record expert. Here, let's listen to this side here.